All right, now the first couple questions here where it talks about the geometric mean, I obviously would not expect you to understand what that means. We're going to talk more about the geometric mean in Algebra 2, but basically what they're telling you is that all of the right triangles, all right, if you construct a right triangle and you draw an altitude, then all of the triangles are similar, all right, which is real easy to prove. We can do that. But basically, the geometric mean has to do with setting up proportions, all right? And solving a proportion is when you cross, multiply, and divide. I probably will not put this question, any one of these questions on the test, but I saw one of these on the ACT where it said find the geometric mean, all right? And the geometric mean is, and you'll see why when we take a look at the problems down the page, why you can do this. But right now, the geometric mean is just the product of the two numbers, all right? So we would say 16, 2 times 8 is 16, and then you just take the square root of it, all right? And if you remember, it has to do with setting up a proportion. All right, I probably should go ahead and say that. When you get to these right triangles, what ends up happening is you make a proportion where it would be x over 2 is always equal to 8 over x. That would be what they want you to set up. All right, so I usually demonstrate that, and then kids just realize that what? If you just multiply and take the square root, that's the same thing. All right, so in this case, the geometric mean would just be what? 4. All right, the geometric mean would be 4. Now, technically, it could actually be what? Plus or minus 4 because you're taking a square root. But in this case, we don't use the x. All right, we just say it's the product and then take the square root. All right, because we are dealing with right triangles, and obviously this would not be negative. All right, so now for number 2. All right, again, I would want you to just write the square root of 9 times 36. Now, what's the obvious answer there? You shouldn't have to do any work. You should be able to tell me it's obviously what? Say it. Good job. 18. All right, it's obviously 18 without doing any work. All right, how do I know it's 18? Because what's the square root of 9? What's the square root of 36? 6. And because there's no addition, you can just take the square root of them individually and then multiply the answer. Everybody okay with that? All right, now again, some of you guys are eventually going to be taking placement tests in high school. All right, and everything we're doing is trying to help you do better so you have a better opportunity of getting into the classes that you want and the high schools that you want. All right, so we're starting to review some things that you should know. All right, dealing with square roots is something that we've been continuously working on, but here it should really help. All right, so let's look at question number 3. All right, so this is just the square root of what? We wouldn't really say the square root of 28. I would really want you to just say the square root of 4 times 7. The reason why I want you to say that is because now we can just go ahead and take the square root of what? 4. So we should know that it's just what?
2 radical 7.
Yeah, that's what I want from you guys. 2 radical 7. All right. Now let's look at 5. All right. Now remember, this is just simply the square root of what? 5 times 10, right? That's right. And so in here, thank you very much. Does everybody understand there's a common 5 with 5 and 10, right? All right, so I don't want you to say 50. I want you to say, hey, there's a common 5 there. So we just pull that out as what? 5 radical 2. Is everybody okay with that? Any issues? All right, let's take a look at number 5. Same thing with number 5. There's no reason to multiply 28 times 14 because there's a common what? Nope, there's a common 14. Good job. So that would be what? 14 radical 2. Exactly. All right, and last one here. Is there anything common? No, but
6. So 6 radical 7.
yes, perfect. 6 radical 7. 6 radical 7. Anybody have any issues with that? Anybody have any issues? Nobody? Everybody agree? Easy, right? Very simple. All right. Now the important stuff down here, guys. All right, and this is where I try to tell kids that you just have to understand that, first of all, we're going to show you that if you have a right triangle and you draw the altitude to the hypotenuse, that you create 3 what? Similar triangles. All right, you create 3 similar triangles. So let's do that real quick. Let's look up here. All right. So now, do you agree that there are, does everybody see 3 right triangles? Right? Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you how I normally talk about it. I normally say there's a short leg, there's a long leg, and there's a hypotenuse. Did I agree with that? All right, short leg, long leg, and hypotenuse. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I want to show you how the 2 angles are equal. I want to show you how 2 angles are equal. The 2 triangles. Therefore, the triangles are what? Similar. So we okay with that? All right, so let's look at this real quick. All right. Now, does everybody understand this angle right here right now is what? 90 degrees, correct? All right, now please pay attention. This is the important part. Really critical. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to erase this now, and I'm going to say this is x. Because I don't know what that measure is. Everybody agree with that? Go on, try to listen. Everybody agree that's x. We don't know what it is. So now I want someone to tell me what the measure of this angle right there would be. Say it. Thank you very much. Guys, that is critical. That angle right there must be 90 minus x. Everybody okay with that? All right, now let's see if you're thinking. Somebody tell me what this angle has to be right there. What?
X.
Of course, x. All right, that's a little bit harder to see, I think. All right, so let's figure out why that's x. The reason why that's x is because this angle over here is what? 90. So these 2 angles have to add up to what? Those 2 angles have to add up to what? Those 2 angles have to add up to 90. Is everybody okay with that? Can I see that? All right. So if they have to add up to 90, and this is 90 minus x, this has to be what? X. Because if I add those things together, I now have what? 90. Right? Everybody see that? All right. Now I need some help with this with that angle right there. What's that angle? Of course, 90 minus x. Very, very good. All right. So now I want to erase that. I want to go down here, and I want to put 90 minus x. Now, from that little bit of information now, you're supposed to be able to see that those triangles are all now what? They're all similar. All right, is everybody with me on that? So anytime you draw in a right triangle, the altitude, right, from the 90 degrees angle to the hypotenuse, it creates what? 3 similar triangles. All right, does everybody see that? All right. Now, I want you to write this now. We're going to write the similarity statement. All right. So the similarity statement is just relating all 3 similar triangles. All right. So first, I want to start with the really big triangle, and that's triangle what? Now I like to call it triangle ABC is similar to triangle. Now we're going to do the medium one. All right. Now A is, what's the measure of angle A? 90 minus x. So A has to go with what? C. And then B is what? X, right? So it has to be what? Isn't it the same angle? Does everybody agree? So it would be C, B, and then angle C was the right angle. Does everybody agree? So it would have to be what? CBD is similar to triangle. All right, now I'm doing the small one. All right. Now remember, we start out with the large angle. So the large angle was 90 minus x, right? So that has to be A. And then B was x, right? So then it would be C, and then it would be D. Now I'm a little puzzled here because I want you to hear me, and I don't know why. A lot of people find that very difficult. A lot of people find that very difficult. I really and truly don't know why. All right, stay with me. I have no idea why. Now, some of you might forget the 90 minus x stuff. I'm thinking in a couple months, if you're taking a standardized test, you might forget the 90 minus x and the x. So what I also try to show kids is this. All right, look how easy it could be if I erase that, and I just came down here and I said, okay, I'm just gonna estimate. I think that's about 20 degrees. All right, and if that's 20 degrees, then angle A at the top would have to be what? 70 degrees, and then the angle next to the 20 would have to be what? 70, and then angle B would have to be what? Now do you see how much easier it is now if you just put the numbers in? How even easier it would be instead of doing the 90 minus x and the x is to relate those. Now, do we know that that's 20 and 70, or did I just make that up? I just made that up so you could visualize it better. Some kids don't like the x and the 90 minus x, which is perfectly okay. Just plug a number in, and that way you can see the relationship between the triangles. Everybody agree with that? And once you write that they are similar, then you can just show the proportions to solve the triangle, all right, which is the obviously the ultimate goal. All right. So with that in mind, all right, let's do 10. All right. The reason why I want to do 10 is because it's a smaller triangle. All right, and it's kind of sometimes harder to see. Now, again, because we're brilliant, we can write x and 90 minus x. All right, that's what I want everybody to do. All right, so angle R we want to call what? Okay, I would have said x, but some of you prefer to start with 90 minus x, so we'll start with 90 minus x. Then the angle on top would be what? X. And then UST would be what? Thank you. 90 minus x. And then t would be what? Right. Now, remember what I'm trying to tell you guys. All right, I'm worried about some of your grades. All right, so I'm begging you, if you don't know something, it's a brand new chapter. Get involved now. If you don't know something, don't sit there and say, well, everyone else knows it and I don't. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? Now you have to write the similarity statement. I personally prefer to do the big triangle first. All right, I like to go in order. All right, so the big triangle is going to be, and it doesn't matter. Someone just tell me. Triangle what? All right, so I have a triangle RST, and that's not bad because, all right, just make sure. All right, RST. All right. Now, sometimes for me, starting out, if I was taking a test, I would write above R what? 90 minus x. S is the what? 90 degrees. And T is the what? And T is the x. Now, I'm just trying to give you little pointers. Some of you don't need to do that, obviously, and I don't care. All right? But that's how you could label it. Triangle RST. All right? Now what I want to do is I want to put similar to, now we're going to do the triangle on the right. All right, so 90 minus x is what? S. U, and then what?
T.
Now, I like I said, I'm just telling you, people find that hard. And like I said, you might be one of those people just not sure what I'm doing. Speak up. I think it's easy. Simple. If you label it properly. I'm not expecting you to look at the triangle and say that's the answer. You have to mark it. All right? Then, similar to triangle on the left.
U, R,
Does everybody agree? R, U, S. Is everybody happy with that? Everybody good? Easy, right? Very simple. Very, very simple. Okay. Now, we're going to get into the actual problems that are important. We're going to get into the problems that are important. All right. So here, in this particular case right here, the three triangles are what? Similar.
Similar.
All right. So now we have to just come up with a proportion. We have to come up with a proportion. All right. Now, is it possible for you to always write out the similarity statement? Yes, but that'd be kind of time consuming, so we don't want to do that. So now I'm going to try to show you how you can think about it. All right. But again, I want you to look up here and make sure you're hearing me. All right. Because again, I'm not going to write the similarity statement. I'm going to show you how I'm looking at the triangles, so it's easy for me to see the relationship. All right. X could be a hypotenuse. Does everybody agree with that? It could also be a what? Short leg. Now, if you can't see that, now's the time to put your hand up. All right? So, if I am looking at this triangle right here, that is called the what? That's called the hypotenuse, right? If I am looking at this triangle right here, that would be called the what? That would be called the short leg. Does everybody agree with that? Come on now, that's where I need you to really concentrate with me. Make sure you're hearing me. Does everybody agree? All right. Now, Y, all right, could be the what? Hypotenuse, or it could be the what? Long leg. Does everybody see that? Right, because again, this time I'm looking at this triangle right here. If I'm looking at that triangle, it would be the hypotenuse. If I'm looking at this triangle right here, it would be the what? Long leg. Everybody see that? There's three triangles that you're looking at. All right, you got to establish the relationship. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you about 3. This right here could be the what? Could be the short leg, right? Now, is that really a side of one of the other triangles? No, it's a part of a side, but it is not a side. Does everybody agree with that? All right. Now, let's look at this 9 right here. That could be considered what? A long leg, right? Is it part of another triangle, right? Now, 9, right? What else could it be? I don't think it's a hypotenuse of a triangle. I think it's like 3, isn't it? It's just what? It's just the long leg. Because it's a part of this hypotenuse right here, right? But it's not the hypotenuse. Do we agree with that? All right, now what about Z? Z could be if I'm looking at Z right here, and I'm talking about this triangle, Z would be the what? Long leg. But if I was looking at the triangle on the right, it would be the what? Short leg. Everybody see that? So that's how I try to look at them. long leg, hypotenuse, short leg. Everybody with me on this? All right, now I'm going to erase all that. So now that you understand what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to show you how simple this is. All right, very simple. All right, I'm going to circle 3, and I'm going to do it the hard way first. So there's 3 and x. That's a what? Short leg and a what? Hypotenuse. So short leg over hypotenuse is 3 over x. Does everybody agree? Everybody see that? Then I need a short leg over a hypotenuse. Can I pick this short leg and this hypotenuse? No, because that would be too many variables to solve. Does everybody agree with that? So that's no good. So what's another short leg? So I did the small triangle. I just looked at the middle triangle. Now I have to look at the what? The big triangle. What's the short leg on the big triangle? And what's the hypotenuse? Thank you very much. 12 for those guys who said 12. Right? Does everybody see why it's 12? The hypotenuse of the big triangle is this guy right here. Everybody with me on that? So I did short leg to the hypotenuse, and then I did short leg to the hypotenuse. And those are proportions. Now that's how they're talking about the geometric means. Right? So again, we're just saying what? X squared equals 36. So x was equal to what? X was equal to 6. All right? Everybody okay with that? Now, what we're going to do now is we'll do 9 over y. All right? Now, if I do 9 over y, I want to label what that is. 9 is the what? Long leg, and y is the what? Right, so now I have to find a long leg and a hypotenuse. So that was the middle triangle, so let's do the large triangle. What's the long leg? Y. What's the hypotenuse? What's the hypotenuse? Do we agree it's 12? See how you can make a mistake if you're not careful now, right? Does everybody agree? So y over 12. Now when you cross multiply, you're going to get y squared. Do I multiply 9 times 12 or just leave it alone? Leave it alone. We don't want to multiply it. Y squared equals the square root of 9 times 12. What's common with 9 and 12? 3. So now this becomes a 3 and a 4, right? Now what am I going to pull out? No, a 2. This 4 comes out as a what? 2. And what's left behind? 3. So my answer is what? 6 radical 3. Right, if I multiply 9 times 12, I just get the square root of 108. And 108 is 36 times 3. Square root of 36 is 6. You see what I'm saying? But most people don't know that. That's why I think it's easier just to break them down at first. Good for you. Because that's what this is. That's what this operation is. Multiplication.
Oh, right.
Right? Yes, ma'am.
So, for, X, like, for, yeah, the first one that we did, the first triangle, we were just solving. We're
Yep.
solving for the different triangles.
Yes, the missing sides. And you're always writing a proportion, and then to solve proportion, you just cross multiply.
Okay, so, like, it would be big, or the short, on the shorter side, over the big.
Well, it's just, you get to write it however you want.
Oh,
Mine is not the only way to do it.
oh, so
You have to decide. In a minute, we're going to go 12 and 13 and 14, and we're just going to pick. You with me? All right. So now I'm missing z. Does everybody agree with me? I'm missing z. So right now I'm just going to do 3 over z. And what's 3 considered? Probably the short, and Z is the what? Long leg, right? So look to the triangle on the right. What's the short leg? What's the long leg? See how easy that is? So it's Z over 9. All right? So now we have Z squared is equal to 9 times 3. So Z is equal to 3 radical 3. All right? Everybody okay with that? Yes.
Why would you Z squared?
Remember, because we're cross multiplying, kiddo. We're going Z times Z.
Oh.
That's how I got Z squared. And then we just do what? 3 times 9.
And then, but we're not supposed to make it 27.
Well, no, because I'm going to break it down because I'm going to take the square root. Right? When I take the square root of 9, it becomes 3. And then the 3 is left behind. Okay? All right? So here we go. Let's just knock out number 12 now. All right? Now, again, it doesn't matter how you start. All right? So you always start with a number and a variable. All right? Somebody give it a shot. Good, Ava. Tell me what you want to start with. And it doesn't matter. Just say one. X over what?
4.
Good job. X over 4. So this is a long leg and a short leg. You agree with that? Now you got to find a long leg and a short leg. Would we try the really big triangle? No, because both the long leg and the short leg are unknown. So you try the one right next to it. So what's the long leg for the next triangle?
7.
Over what? No? No, I don't want you guessing. But so it's X though, right? Because why? Long leg, short leg. Z is the what? Hypotenuse. Right? Okay, so now you just cross multiplying. So X squared equals 4 times 10. So X is equal to 2 radical 10. Everybody okay with that? Any issues? Any issues? All right, so now I like to go ahead and put that in here because I may have to use it. All right, so now someone else set up a proportion. And again, it doesn't matter. Gavin, good. Good job. So we have Z over 10, and Z is the what, Gavin?
Z is the hypotenuse.
And 10 is the what?
Long leg.
Beautiful. So now I need a hypotenuse and a long leg.
Y over 4.
No, it would be Y over.
Oh, I mean Y over X.
That's right. That's right. Y over X. Because we already figured out what X was, right?
Yes.
So we can say, uh-oh, but what's the problem with using Y? There's too many variables now.
Oh yeah.
See what I'm saying? Now again, I'm really happy about that. Y over 2 radical 10. Does everybody understand what I'm saying now? We can't use that one triangle because now there's just too many unknowns. All right, so we can't use that triangle, so now use the other triangle. What's the hypotenuse and the long leg on the other triangle? I'm ready.
14.
Over.
Z.
Yeah, look how easy. So even if you do it wrong, you can see that it's not going to work. All right, that's why I never understood the difficulty. All right, so now when you cross multiply, you end up with Z squared equals 10 times 14. And so Z is equal to, what do they have in common, 10 and 14?
2.
So 2 radical what? Thank you, 2 radical 35. And again, if you don't see 2 radical 35, you need to let me know. Everybody okay with that? Yes.
So we just took the hypotenuse of the biggest
That's exactly right. And the hypotenuse of the biggest triangle is 14.
So if you can't find it with the small, like you just
Yes, you
find
just
the
keep
height,
moving on. You have 3 options. Small triangle, medium triangle, and large
and
triangle.
they all work.
They all work. All right. Now, I'm missing what now? I'm missing y. So I'm going to go put up here. This was 2 radical 35. All right, Dalton. We're trying to figure out what y is. So set it up for me.
So if you do y equals
You, yes. Y over 14. 14 is considered the hypotenuse, and y is considered the,
the
yes,
short,
short leg. Do you agree, right? So now I need a short leg and a hypotenuse. So start with the smallest triangle. Don't make it hard.
so
What is the small leg? And what's the hypotenuse? There you go, man. Do you agree?
Mhm.
4 over y. So now we have y squared is equal to 4 times 14, right? And so y is equal to, beautiful, 2 radical 14. All right, does everybody agree with that? It's not that hard, right? All right. So in the interest of time here, guys, I feel like I feel good, right? So your homework, 1 through 10. All right, 1 through 10 on the second page. All right. I want everybody to make sure that you can set up the similar triangles. That's what you're doing. And then, believe it or not, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the most important ones. I will also want you to try 10. But just notice something in 7. They're trying to trick you in number 7. What is this length from here to here right off the bat? Yeah, all right. It's not a big deal. All right, guys. Good job for today. All right, good job. Get busy. All right, just do the second worksheet, 1 through 10.
oh yeah, so 5 times 12. So 4 is equal to it.
Please, 4 out of 3.
4 out of 6.